So this is my second time. I just tried making this video and I was really interrupted. But I thought I've had a few comments on previous videos for quite a while actually, and I also had an email from somebody whose name I can't remember. I'm very sorry, I meant to check that. Anyway, asking for a space facts video. Now I bloody love space, it's so interesting. I could read and watch films and documentaries about space all day long. So I will be reading some space facts. I have done a space facts video before, but it's years old. I don't know how old. Some of the facts I read will probably be the same facts as on that last video, but I haven't listened to it. I'm not going to listen to it. If they're the same, then sorry. I hope you're loving the setup as well. Got my lovely candles. And I've got my lovely crochet squares, which if you watched my last video, I obviously now have a few more. I have these four. I'm doing a fifth there. Although to my shame, I didn't read the label properly. These are all, the yarn for these is all for a 4mm hook. This yarn is for a 5mm hook. So I'm going to try and skip a row and hope that that makes it the same size as these, but if not, then that square's going to be too big and I won't be able to use it in my blanket, but hey ho, never mind, lesson learned. Hope you like these ones though. Okay, I'm going to read. Also, just again, if you've been following my last few videos, I have a new laptop which I'm super excited about. It's Acer. It was in the sale, and it's run like a dream so far. It's been on. I took it to work with me, but I didn't switch it on. It's been on since about 4 o'clock. It's now nearly 9:30, and according to the battery, it still has 7 hours of battery left. So this is very, very good. Okay, space facts. Mercury and Venus are the only 2 planets in our solar system that have no moons. In total, there are 176 confirmed moons that orbit the planets in our solar system. Some of them are bigger than Mercury itself. If a star passes too close to a black hole, it can be torn apart. The hottest planet in our solar system is Venus. Venus has a lot of gases in its atmosphere, very, very thick atmosphere, which creates a greenhouse effect similar to the effect on Earth. But Venus is like the greenhouse effect times a lot more than us, which is why it's so hot. Apparently, it has a constant temperature of 864 Fahrenheit or 462 degrees Celsius. I think, by the way, just while we're on the topic of space, if anyone hasn't seen The Planets, which was on BBC in the UK, it was narrated by Brian Cox, who is a scientist / TV presenter. Very, very, very brilliant series. Saturn was my favourite episode, but anyway, I'm sure I saw on that programme that they managed to land a probe on Venus and it lasted about 40 minutes before it just burnt up. Which is crazy. That I think out of all the planets, Venus is the one we know least about. I think, maybe someone quote me on that, because it's literally too hot for any equipment to stay there for long enough. Okay. Our solar system is 4.57 billion years old. It says in about 7.5 billion years, the sun's expanding surface will swallow up and engulf the Earth. Okay, I'm sorry if I say this wrong. Enceladus, one of Saturn's smaller moons, reflects 90% of the sun's light because of its icy surface. The highest mountain discovered is the Olympus Mons, which is located on Mars. It's 3 times higher than Mount Everest. Not only is it tall, but it's also 374,015 square feet wide. That's an area the size of Arizona. Whirlpool Galaxy M51 was the first celestial object to be identified as spiral. There's a picture of it here and it is very pretty. In fact, I'll show you a picture because I can now, because I have a good laptop. I mean, space is beautiful, but Galaxy is just absolutely gorgeous. A light year is the distance covered by light in a single year. Light moves at a velocity of 186,411 miles a second, or 300,000 kilometers a second. 1 light year is, a million, a trillion. Okay, I'm just going to read the numbers out. Someone please tell me how I say this number. 5,903, 026, 326, 255 miles. The Milky Way galaxy is 105,700 light years wide. So someone who's either very good at maths or has a calculator could times the previous number by 105,700 and tell us how wide the Milky Way is in miles. I imagine very wide is the answer. It would take a modern spacecraft 450 million years to travel to the centre of our galaxy. The Sun weighs about 330,000 times more than Earth. Earth could fit inside the Sun about 1.3 million times over. Footprints left on the Moon won't disappear because there's no wind. Because of lower gravity, a person who weighs 220 pounds on Earth would weigh 84 pounds on Mars. There are 79 known moons orbiting Jupiter. I go on Reddit a lot, and one of the most interesting comments I've ever read was by someone describing what would happen if you, forgive me, tried to walk on Jupiter, if you tried to land on Jupiter. Because obviously it's a gas planet, you can't really land on it, but it described what would happen as you kind of sunk further into Jupiter. It's really interesting. I'll try and link it below. It also says Jupiter is the planet with the most moons. It also has the largest moon in our solar system. That moon is Ganymede. It's 33,279 miles in diameter. That's bigger than Mercury. And it's visible with a pair of binoculars. I forgot to say, I got really excited the other day. It was a clear night, and I was just staring out my window at the sky, at the stars, and I realised I can see the North Star from my bedroom window, and I don't know why, I've never noticed it before. Well, I do, because, never mind, but I just got really, really excited for some reason. Sorry, I geek out. So I'm rambling, I'll just carry on. The Martian day is 24 hours, 39 minutes and 35 seconds long. The Martian is also one of my favourite films. I really love The Martian. Gravity was on TV the other day, which, I'll be absolutely honest, I remember liking it in the cinema, but when I watched it the other day, it wasn't as good as I remembered it. And on the other hand, Interstellar, I saw Interstellar the first time I saw it was in IMAX, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely amazing. Loved Interstellar. If anyone has any more spacey films they'd like to recommend, then please do so. NASA's Crater Observation and Sensing Satellite found evidence of water on the Earth's moon. The Sun makes a full rotation every 25 to 35 days. Earth is the only planet not named after a god. Nobody knows how Earth got its name, All we know is it is derived from an amalgamation of the Old English and Old Germanic words for ground. Due to the moon, sun and moon's gravitational pull, we have tides. This is because the moon's tidal force causes the earth and the water on it to bulge out on the side closest to the moon. These bulges are what cause the world's high tides. Pluto is smaller than the United States. If you were to walk around the equator of Pluto, it would be the same distance as walking from London to Denver, give or take 56 miles. According to mathematics, when it says it's smaller than the United States, I'll show you the picture. I guess it means, diameter-wise. According to mathematics, white holes are possible, although as of yet we have found none. There are more volcanoes on Venus than any other planet in our solar system. Uranus's blue glow is due to the gases in its atmosphere. I had to teach a science class. I'm not a science teacher, but I had to teach a science class last year or the year before, and I instinctively just pronounced it as Uranus rather than Uranus, just because I can't deal with the giggles. So, however you pronounce it, go for it. It's just been ingrained on me to say Uranus. Uranus's atmosphere is made of hydrogen, helium, and methane. In our solar system, I'm sorry, my legs are going numb. Just let me switch places. I'm kind of sat cross-legged, and I'm leaning forward onto my knees, so my feet are going a bit numb. Okay, sorry about that. In our solar system, there are 4 planets known as gas giants: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. A gas giant is a large planet that is made up of mostly gases like hydrogen and helium and only has a small rocky core. Uranus has 27 moons that have been discovered so far. Titania is the largest of Uranus's moons and the 8th largest moon in our solar system, with an average diameter of 980 miles. I thought Uranus's moon... Oh no, it's Saturn's moon that's called Triton. Sorry, ignore me. Because of its unique tilt, a season on Uranus is equivalent to 21 Earth years. Neptune's moon, Triton, orbits the planet backwards. Triton is the only large moon of any of the planets that does this. This is known as a retrograde orbit, and astronomers are unsure as to why Triton orbits Neptune in this way. Triton is gradually getting closer to the planet it orbits. When Triton eventually gets too close to Neptune, it will be torn apart by the planet's gravity and could potentially create another ring around Neptune, giving it more rings than Saturn. This fact blows my mind when I give it a proper think. There are more stars in space than there are grains of sand on Earth. Think about how many beaches there are in the world. The fact that the seabed is probably mostly sand. The fact that you've got lakes with beaches. How much sand is nowhere near a lake or a beach? And then how many grains of sand are on those beaches and in those oceans? It's crazy that there are more stars than that. And it really makes you think. I absolutely 100% believe there is life out there. There's gotta be. There absolutely has to be. And I think we will find it. Not in my lifetime, not in yours, but we will find it eventually. Neptune takes nearly 165 Earth years to make one orbit of the Sun. largest moon, Charon, is half the size of Pluto. The same surfaces of Charon and Pluto always face each other, which is known as mutual tidal locking. The International Space Station is the largest manned object ever sent into space. At 109 yards or 119 yards or 109 meters long, the ISS sits roughly 250 miles above the Earth and is the third brightest object in the night sky. During lockdown, it was about a couple of months ago. My dad is also interested in spacey stuff, and the ISS was due to fly over our house, and luckily it was a clear day, and I saw it. It just looked like a star, but obviously a star that was moving through the sky. It was really nice to see that. It was really, really interesting to see. A day on Pluto lasts for 153.6 hours. Saturn is the second largest planet in the solar system. However, due to its low density, it only has a weight roughly 1/8 of Earth. I'm also pretty sure it was Saturn. It said if it were possible, if you could put Saturn in water, it would float because it's got such a low density. Any free-moving liquid in outer space will form itself into a sphere. This is because of something called surface tension, which is an imbalance of intermolecular attractive forces. Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are known as the inner planets. We know more about Mars and our moon than we do about our oceans. That is a fact that does creep me out ever so slightly. I found the oceans really, really interesting as well. It says we have fully mapped 100% of the surface of Mars and the Earth's moon, whereas we've only mapped about 5% of the ocean floor. The Black Arrow is the only British satellite to be launched using a British rocket. I'm going to write to Mr. Johnson. I think we need a space program. I would totally go into space if I had the opportunity. Black Arrow was developed during the 1960s and was used for 4 launches between 69 and 71. In 2019, it was retrieved from its crash landing site in the Australian outback and put on display in Pennyquick, Scotland. Sorry, I've probably said that wrong. Only 5% of the universe is visible from Earth. I'm surprised it's that much, to be honest. Light travels from the Sun to the Earth in less than 10 minutes. It's actually 8 minutes and 20 seconds. I remember when I was at school, I was in primary school, and this guy came in to give a talk on space, and he asked, how long does it take for the sun's light to get to Earth? And I knew the answer. I said 8 minutes. And it's just a memory. It's like Inside Out when you have a core memory. I just remember it really well, and I remember how surprised he was that I knew that. At any given moment, there are at least 2,000 thunderstorms happening on Earth. The Earth's rotation is slowing slightly as time goes on. This means that days were shorter in the past. This is because of the tidal effects the moon has on the Earth's rotation. If you were driving at 75 miles per hour, it would take 250 days to drive around Saturn's rings. Outer space is only 62 miles away. Although there is no official solid boundary for where the space begins, The Kármán line sits at 62 miles above sea level and is conventionally used as the start of outer space in space treaties or for aerospace records keeping. That's really cool. So I am closer to outer space than I am to London. Nice. The ISS circles Earth every 92 minutes. Stars twinkle because of the way light is disrupted as it passes through Earth's atmosphere. We always see the same side of the moon, no matter where we stand on Earth. This is because the moon rotates on its axis at the same rate that it rotates the Earth. It's known as synchronous rotation or tidal locking. There are three main types of galaxies: elliptical, spiral, and irregular. The Milky Way is classified as a spiral galaxy. There are approximately 100,000 million stars in the Milky Way. Using the naked eye, you can see 3 to 7 different galaxies from Earth. In 2016, scientists detected a radio signal from a source 5 billion light years away. This means when the signal started its journey, Earth didn't even exist. See, that is fascinating. I definitely think there's life out there, but we're just not technologically advanced to reach it yet. Never mind. Like I said, we will get there eventually. The closest galaxy to us is the Andromeda Galaxy. It's estimated at 2.5 million light years away. The first supernova observed outside of our own galaxy was in 1885. I always think it's amazing how, it was the Greeks that first mapped the stars at night, wasn't it? I'm sure it was the Greeks. And part of me thinks it's amazing how a civilization that existed thousands and thousands of years ago could map the stars so accurately. But it also makes me think there's no light pollution, or there wasn't any back then. So I wonder what it was like looking up at the night sky 2,000 years ago compared to now. I would love to know that. It's on my bucket list. I would love to go somewhere with no light pollution, to go stargazing one day. That's something I would love to do one day. Okay, I'm on fact 52. I'll read up to fact 50, and then I think I will call it a video. But if you'd like a part 2, please let me know. The first ever black hole photographed is 3 million times the size of Earth. The photo was released in April 2019 and shows a halo of dust and gas at 310 million trillion miles from Earth. It was captured by the Event Horizon Telescope, a network of 8 linked telescopes, and was also captured due to the algorithm of programmer Katie Bowman. Excuse me, is here. And I think that is just an incredible photograph. It's also quite creepy, but incredible. The distance between the Sun and Earth is defined as an astronomical unit. The second man on the moon was Buzz Aldrin. Moon was Aldrin's mother's maiden name. Buzz Aldrin's birth name was Edwin Eugene Aldrin. He got the nickname Buzz from his sister's mispronunciation of the word brother, which became Buzzer. In 1988, he legally changed his first name to Buzz. On Venus, it snows metal and rains sulfuric acid. Sounds like a lovely place. The Mariner 10 was the first spacecraft that visited Mercury in 1974. Space is completely silent. This is because there is no in space, and air is needed to carry the sound vibrations. So if you shouted to someone next to you in space, they wouldn't be able to hear you. How's that for a fun space fact? In space, no one can hear you scream. Do you know what that reminded me of? That scene in The Last Jedi, where, oh god, I've forgotten her name, where Laura Dern goes through, oh god, I need to rewatch The Last Jedi, I've forgotten everything. You know the scene I'm talking about, where she goes to light speed and she splits Kylo Ren's huge spacecraft in half, and that scene is just completely silent. Just reminded me of that. That just popped into my head. Coca-Cola was the first commercial soft drink that was ever consumed in space. I wonder how much Coca-Cola paid for that. You can have a bonus one just because I was about to read it out. This is number 61. Astronauts can grow approximately 2 inches in height when in space. This is due to lack of gravity in space. It causes the discs between the vertebrae to expand a little bit. However, this extra height is lost when re-entering the Earth's atmosphere and being subjected to Earth's gravity again. I wonder if there are any health benefits, or vice versa, if it's bad for your health. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. There are more, but I don't want this to be a huge long video because it might not upload. If you liked this, I could do a part 2. I can read facts about another topic. Please let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this spacey video. I'm totally in the mood to stargaze, but it's been raining all day, so it's probably, well, I know it's not a clear night, so I'm not even going to bother looking through my window. Have a lovely evening, day, morning, night, wherever you are, and see you in the next one.